I mean, you should mobilize and strengthen each of these parts of the body individually, but ultimately the point is to bring it all together, and nothing does that quite as well as walking. Hey, my name's Nick. Today, let's look at some of the exercises for improving posture and building a bomb-proof spine. If you're currently working through some back pain and any of these exercises don't feel like a good choice for you right now, then check out the link in the description for a free course. We'll go into detail about what you can do to stop back pain, including some simple movements you can do right from bed. But no matter where you are on your journey to get out of pain and build a stronger posture, the name of the game is load management. So I'll be showing you modifications for all of these exercises. Practice at a level that is challenging but not painful. So 5 of my favorite movements for developing a strong, pain-free posture. Before we get into it, if you like this video and you want to see more, then hit the like and subscribe button to let me know. All right, number 1, a stiff-legged hinge. Hinging is one of the fundamental human movements. Practicing a hinge with stiff legs strengthens the whole posterior chain, the back of the legs, the hips, the spinal erectors. For a basic hinge, stand with your feet hip distance apart and fold forward. Bring your hands to the floor. It's totally okay to bend your knees, to bring your hands down to the ground. But if you are bending the knees, then keep them bent as you hinge back up with a straight back. There are lots of different hinge varieties, but they will all basically help you develop the same muscle groups. If you're at home, you can make this simple hinge more challenging by practicing on one leg and taking the opposite hand to the floor. Either use the back leg for balance and support, or keep the back leg extended out back behind you. If you do have access to weights or to a gym, I highly recommend including deadlifts in your routine. Deadlifts are the king of hinges. If you really want to build a bulletproof back, this one is almost unavoidable. Most of the body you can train without equipment, or at least very minimal equipment, but it's really hard to find a substitute for lifting something heavy off the ground. The form for a deadlift is basically the same as that of a basic hinge. Keep your feet about hip distance apart, hinge at the hips, and lift back up with the spine straight. So, all right, the good news is that you won't need much else for the rest of these. And you won't need anything besides a floor for this next one. We're looking at the core, but not the six-pack muscles. For posture, we're really more interested in the muscles that surround the trunk, the transverse abdominis, the obliques, the quadratus lumborum, the deep core muscles. So, begin on your back. Scoop your pelvis into posterior rotation by reaching your tailbone towards your heels. You should feel your low back press down into the ground. Reach your arms overhead alongside your ears and lift your arms and shoulders off the ground. Don't tuck your chin. Keep the neck straight. And also lift your legs off the ground. Extend the knees. So legs off the ground, chest and arms off the ground. This is a hollow body pose, and it is excellent for strengthening the core muscles responsible for good posture. When you can hold this with a good form, low back on the ground, shoulders up, legs lifted, hold this with good form for about 5 breaths or 30 seconds. Challenge yourself by starting to rock left and right. As you rock, the arms and shoulders, the legs stay off the ground. You can balance on your side before then continuing to roll all the way to your front into a locust pose. Which again, chest up, legs up, arms up. Hold for 5 breaths or 30 seconds. And alternatively, if rolling on the ground isn't your thing, you can just practice all of these postures individually. Next pose is going to develop rotational and lateral mobility through the spine and train good shoulder posture. So come into a lunge with the back leg close to a wall and do whatever you need to keep your knees happy. Keep them on a cushion, pillow, etc. Take your hands behind your neck and begin with your chest facing the wall. Trace a big arc with your back elbow up, over, and around towards your front knee so that your trunk is twisting and your back is facing the wall. Pause and a twist. Reach the opposite elbow backward to open the chest and engage the twisting muscles of the trunk. Then come back the other way, up, over, around again, until you find yourself in a side bend with the chest facing the wall. Practice this about 5 times and then switch sides. You can make this exercise easier by setting yourself up farther away from the wall and giving yourself more space for rotation, or you can practice each part of the exercise separately. So a lunging twist with a hand in the block for support, if you like, and a lunging side bend. If you are practicing these poses separately, make sure you're still focusing on trunk and core rotation. So belly button facing towards the front knee as you twist, belly button facing away from the front knee as you enter a side bend. Our next exercise for improving posture emphasizes extension through the thoracic spine. The easy way to practice thoracic extension is with a foam roller, but let's assume you don't have anything like that. You can still get a nice opening through the chest and the ribs, but it takes a little bit more finesse. So stand facing a wall with your arms reaching up, your palms facing each other, and keep your forehead at the wall. Step back and begin to hinge at the hips, dragging your forehead and your hands down. Let your pelvis tilt forward and begin to extend through the spine. The reason this one is tricky is that the shoulders have a greater range of motion than the mid-back, and the natural tendency is to flex through the shoulders instead of extending through the spine. You might feel your shoulders creeping up towards your ears as you hinge forward. We want to avoid that. Engage the muscles underneath the armpits by pushing the hands into the wall and trying to point the bony parts of the elbows towards the wall. You'll never quite get there, but that's the rotation we want. With the shoulder blades secured, you'll have a much better extension through the thoracic spine. You can try to take the spine into further extension by lifting the chin up and reaching the chest towards the wall instead of the forehead, or, you could just get a foam roller. The last exercise for improving posture also takes some explanation. It is walking. Yes, walking is fantastic for building a strong upright posture. And I know that might seem like a bit of a tautology, like, having good posture is good for having good posture. But honestly, yeah, that's basically it. Walking coordinates all of the various muscle groups that support good posture. And you should mobilize and strengthen each of these parts of the body individually, but ultimately the point is to bring it all together, and nothing does that quite as well as walking. Just like with any exercise, practicing with poor form reinforces poor posture. Practicing with good form reinforces good posture. If you're not sure what good walking posture looks or feels like, I put together 5 easy self-checks you can make for walking posture. You can check that video out here. Till next time, enjoy your practice.